There is sorcerers and sorcery that we see and that we know and we can detect. And then there is the sorcery that we don't see and the sorcerers that we don't always detect. Hello, beautiful people. It is Oshun Kimmy, mother of mysteries, she who ventures into the dark unknown and comes back with enlightenment. And today I want to talk about this dark unknown element of our society, of our existence, and the fact that we are living in society that is literally structured by magic, by black magic. And so this idea that sorcery only looks one way, as in when we're dealing with spiritual warfare, it's always coming from a witch or a warlock that you can detect. When the truth is that the very nature and structure of our society and our existence is one of spiritual warfare. And so there are so many unseen, hidden witches, warlocks, and sorcerers that run our society. Now, what do I mean when I say that sorcery runs our society? What I mean is that a lot of the things that are structured around us is truly a form of sorcery. And this is not me being paranoid or saying that only evil is around us. No. That is not the basis of this message. The basis of this message is really me telling you that sorcery is all around us. So we have to know how to work and wield our own magic so that we can create the reality we actually want to live in and not just be sucked into the matrix, not just be sucked into the reality that the sorcerers who are running the show want us to be occupied in or want us to be bound to. And so what we have to understand is that everything is spiritual. Everything is spiritual. The same way that you can be a light being, a star seed, the same is true for politicians, for people in the government, for people in our judicial system, for the people who are running our healthcare systems, food industries. They are also galactic beings. We all have missions when we come here, where our mission is either to liberate, to revolutionize, to break away from old paradigms and matrices. Or on the other hand, there are people whose mission is to support the matrix. Their mission is the opposite of liberation. This is why we have prison systems. This is why we have slavery, even now, in certain countries. This is why we have things like human trafficking, right? There are literal forces that benefit from these types of warfare on the body, on the spirit. So the sorcery of our society that is existing around us right now looks like a war on food, war on genders and races, war on sexualities and sexual preferences, religious wars and conquests, colonialism, capitalism, slavery. All of that is sorcery. We have to understand that our existence is multi-dimensional, is interdimensional, meaning that the veil is very thin between realms, dimensions, and worlds. And so if you think that there aren't spirits and energies from other worlds shaping this reality that we live in, that is the biggest mistake we can make. The biggest mistake that we can make is to misunderstand the nature of our existence, which is necessarily spiritual, necessarily magical, and necessarily interdimensional. We have to know these things so that we can use them to our own advantage. The same way that entities and beings from different star systems and dimensions travel into this realm to try to shape our reality, we have to know how to shapeshift and to interdimensionally travel and to channel energies so that we are not a victim to the reality that various sorcerers, entities, beings want to lock us into. You are here on this planet. It does not matter who you are, what your religion is, what your race is. You are dealing with spiritual warfare. It does not matter how pure you become as a being. You're going to deal with spiritual warfare. And in fact, the more that you elevate your consciousness, the more that you liberate your spirit, the more spiritual warfare you are going to deal with. And it's a combination of realizing that the spiritual warfare has been affecting you all along. And so now you're just fighting demons that you are aware of. The other element is that once you begin to awaken, there are literal beings, entities, systems of this planet and not of this planet that does not want you to awaken, that does not want to support your liberation. So we have to decide every day, do I want to be a sovereign being, one who creates their own reality, one who understands the laws of the universe, one who is not afraid of magic and who understands that you need a magical practice to be a sovereign being in this day and age? We have to decide every day, are we going to stand in our power? Are we going to build on our magic? Or are we going to keep complaining that we have to do our meditations, keep complaining that we need to eat better, keep complaining that we need to exercise and move our bodies, keep complaining that we need to smudge and spiritually cleanse ourselves? Or are we going to move forward with the energy and the momentum, because times are shifting and we are either here being controlled and puppeteered, or we are controlling our own self, practicing self-mastery, training our thoughts, our minds, our behaviors, and our words so that we are not being influenced and manipulated in ways that we don't want to be. If there is a bad habit that you have, a self-limiting belief that you have, we have the power to break those things. And usually when we are dealing with those things, we are dealing with entity attachments and spiritual warfare. So we're in an age where we're being asked to liberate ourselves, liberate our minds, learn the history of certain politics, the history of religion, the history of the economy, the history of the earth. Learn your geology, your geography, your geometry. Learn your human anatomy, because everything is spiritual. And the more that you know, the less that can be hidden from you. The more you know, the more you become a magician in your own right, a magician of your own life. And when we liberate ourselves, we liberate people around us. Because imagine if I kept running from my destiny and I didn't want to wake up. Because I was running from my destiny at a point in time, trust me. Imagine if I kept running and I never created any of my platforms. I never shared the messages I was receiving. The loss that would be to this planet. The same thing for you. What are you meant to be sharing and creating that is going to be a gift to the liberation of humankind? With that being said, if you want to work with me in any capacity, you want to get a reading with me for me to look into a spiritual situation you may have, or if you would like to join us on the Patreon where we go deeper into rituals and magical practices. And this upcoming week, we will be talking about how to develop your psychic abilities and gifts. And so if you are ready, finally, to begin to actually practice your magic, practice spiritual study, join us on the Patreon if you feel so called to do so. And if you would like to receive a reading from me, there will be a link for readings and the Patreon in the comments below. May peace and enlightenment and sovereignty be upon you. Ashe.